The new Angel Feather Stride is Arcsaver Dragon got nerfed, and luck makes its grandiose return to standard. I'm Mr. Timeleap, and you're watching Cardfight Update. Stand up! Vanguard! Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another episode of Cardfight Update. Today we've got some interesting little tidbits of news spread around in a couple of days, from some interesting card reveals to some new Q&A update to the rulings, as well as a new reveal for the new extra booster, the Heroic Evolution for Link Joker, that's somewhat ominous foreboding for the future, or very exciting news for some specific players. So let's jump right into the first topic in this video, and that is the new Angel Feather Stride for the upcoming Premium Collection. As you all know, the Premium Collection is pretty much hype all around, as most strides are looking very promising with what they could do and how they function in the way that, as they are very good setup strides for your first stride turn, as they can do a lot of things, but also are very good late game strides, as they basically progress, becoming stronger and stronger as much as the game is progressing. However, this trend has come to an end thanks to Angel Feather Stride, as their Angel Feather Stride does absolutely nothing from that sort, and also is basically doing absolutely nothing. So let's see how this Angel Feather Stride works. This is Evangel, Severus, Raphael, Mifra. And as you can see, it's just a generic stride, grade 4, triple drive, 15k, and only one skill. And our skill is act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, cost, counter +3, and turn 1 card in your G zone face up. Discard 2 cards from your hand, heal 2 cards from your damage zone. Nothing more, it's just basically heal 2. Some of you might suddenly think, whoa, that is insane, it can heal 2 damage right out there. It's an upgraded Metatron, and for anybody that's already saying it's really good, let's stop right there and think about it, as Angel Feathers had a similar stride in the past that looked a lot like this. It was an older stride. It basically said flip itself open and heal 1. And it doesn't do anything besides that. It doesn't cost anything besides. It's just flip itself open and you heal 1. The only downside to that card is you can only stride into that one card twice, as you can only run 4 copies, and each time you need to flip itself open. So after the second stride, you cannot go into this thing. This new one, you can go potentially 4 times in a row. However, the problem is you need to counterblast 3, and sure, you can then heal 2 of those damage, but think about it. The moment that you flip 3 face down, how many counterblasts do you have left that is still open? There's probably not a lot much left, as you already flipped 3 face down and then you remove 2 basically to the drop zone. So you have no counterblast probably left for your other skills. So that turn, you're probably only going to do that, and basically only do that. The upside to this card is that there are some interesting interactions you can do with it. You can, if you have 5 damage face up, you can ride it to Metatron, then heal 1 with Metatron, then stride into this thing and heal another 2, so you can go from 5 damage all the way back to 2 damage. And yeah, that might sound good, but that's all you're gonna do. You're just gonna heal 3, and there's no pressure, no nothing. It probably is a good Gize support card and nothing more than that, as it doesn't signify anything. It doesn't interact with anything really great in that sense. It doesn't put any card into the damage zone, so other kinds of skills that interact with swapping cards also do not activate. It's just heal, nothing more. The only thing I can say is probably a good Gize card in the fact that Gize can now go into 6 strides in a row that keeps healing. You can go twice in the one that healed for only 1, and it can go 4 times in this basically. But both of those cards have the issue, they are late game strides, as the previous one had, I believe, a GB2 skill restriction to it. And this one, yeah, you can only go into it the moment that you have 3 damage. So your opponent can deny you this as a first stride. Also, side note, the discard 2 cards from hand are not a cost. So if you have no cards in hand or only 1 card, you're discarding as much as you can from that point. So you can get some value out of it if you're just playing with an empty hand at that point. And it's an act skill, so you can put everything on the field and then use its skill. Let's keep this negative train going, and let's talk about Arcsaver Dragon. Yes, the card has been revealed, and yes, we already talked about it, but as soon as the set just dropped in Japan, they always gonna drop a Q&A set with it, with the extra rulings concerning the cards in that specific set. And there was one ruling that basically jumped out from the rest, and everybody was asking why the hell did they make this change. Basically, as you can see on the screen here, they altered an official ruling from the comprehensive rules in a way that how Arcsaver Dragon interacts with the damage zone. So as you can see here on rule 4.8.2.2, usually the cards in your damage zone hold information if they are face down and nothing else. Now they changed that up so that cards that are face down in your damage zone do not hold any information. So if you want to fetch a card from your damage zone and want to call it or add it to your hand, but you need a specific name or information on that card, you can no longer do that. So if you have 3 damage and you want to use Arcsaver Dragon and Counterblast 3, you cannot call one of those cards anymore because they have no blaster name anymore. They're just cards. So now if you want to use Arcsaver skill and call a card from your damage zone so you can basically heal 1 damage, you need to have 4 open cards in your damage zone, flip 3 of them face down, and then call the 4th that's still open with the blaster name. So yeah, Arcsaver Dragon, that was already a questionable card in the deck, has suddenly become even more terrible as its main upside to the card just was ripped away from it. And I honestly do not know why they made this change or why they said, well, this is the case. It just happened. And for those who are wondering, well, they did it on the live stream where Dr. O basically did that what now cannot be done anymore. You need to keep in mind these changes were made after the live stream, as well as they tend to make mistakes on the live stream more than once. So take everything with a grain of salt. Now, on to the last news, and this might be very exciting, or again, some bad news, depending on which side of the spectrum you are, because we got new reveals for the Link Joker support in the upcoming Heroic Evolution set. Let's dive into them as they have a very interesting story to tell. So first off, we already knew about the starter, but now it's officially confirmed. It's in the set, but this time as a common, not as a foil from the special pack, and it's none other than Neo Messiah. It's just a starter, it has the draw skill like anything else. Nothing really to talk about here. But what is to talk about is the new Grade 1 that was revealed, and that was Destiny Dealer. Yes, the old Stride Fodder for Messiahs. And it has 2 very interesting skills, and you're already seeing at the screen a certain word that we thought we were done with, at least in Standard. As its first skill is Auto and Vanguard Circle, 1 place, put the top card of your deck on your rear guard circle as locked. Yes, locked is returning in Standard. And the second skill is act on rearguard circle once per turn, cost Soul Blast 1, look at the top card of your deck and put it on your rearguard circle as a locked card. Locked cards cannot do anything and are unlocked as stand during their owner's end phase. Alright, if you look at the second skill, it's basically the same as the Shadow Paladin Dark Mage Befkar, or how that name is pronounced, I always say it wrong. But basically Soul Blast 1, check the top card and call it. Only difference is that the one for Shadow Paladin retires at the end of the turn, but you have immediate access to it, so you can attack with it, for example. But in most cases you're retiring it for 1 of your costs. And in this case, it is permanent on the field, but the first turn it's locked. Both skills are basically delayed +1s, as you call them onto the field as locked, and only the turn after that you have access to them. So the moment they are unlocked, they might be interceptors, or they might have a good continuous skill, or in probably in most cases you want to keep them alive for next turn so you can finally attack or boost with it. That's basically what the scenario is going to be, depending on what the next coming support is going to be. However, there is a distinct difference between the 2 skills, as the second one, the act skill on the rearguard circle, explicitly state look at the top card and then put it on locked on the field. So that indicates that the first skill, you take the first top card of your deck and you place it onto the field as locked without looking at it. Just like how you equip gauges. So you might want to make some good decisions when placing a certain card where on the field. Overall, it was a bit unexpected that we see lock return, but in a sense for Messiahs it makes a lot of sense, as seen as they were all about self-locking. And I hope that they're gonna keep it that way, that lock only returns in self-locking, as yes, you are limiting yourself in some place, but you are gaining pluses out of it. It's basically this card can +1 on Vanguard Circle as well as a Rearguard Circle in a Force Clan. And everybody knows, plussing in a Force Clan is very powerful. And probably the rest of the high rarity cards are gonna basically do something, maybe on attack, unlock a card or something in that sense to help use those lock cards earlier. But if you do not have access to them, it's basically a delayed +1. Overall, very interesting reveals, and I'm very curious of what the upcoming Messiah supports are going to do, as well, of course, of the Nova Grappler support and the one for Kagros. But we have to wait and see until those reveals are going to be covered in the upcoming weeks. But that's basically everything for today. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these reveals. Are you saddened with the fact how the Ancient Feather Stride is functioning, or the fact that Arcsaver Dragon got nerfed? Or are you excited or not as excited the fact that luck makes its return, although it's self-luck in Messiahs? So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these new news that we got for Cardfight Vanguard. As always, I want to thank my patrons over at Patreon supporting me in doing this show for you guys. John Edmondson and Priest, you guys are amazing. And if you too want to support me on Patreon, then go to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a Patreon today to get exclusive access to news contents, update videos, as well as some deck profiles that will be coming to Patreon. But as always, guys, I'm Mr. Timeleap, and I'll see you guys in the next one.